I grew up an Auburn fan, and they gave me the toughest skin in the SEC through all the ups and downs. But then, in 1982, something happened that changed everything. A freshman running back named 𝗟𝗏 Jackson went over the top into glory, and something shifted.
Give him a 3-point lead. First things first. 4th and goal and a half a yard. Jackson! Touchdown!
Auburn was no longer just hoping to win. We did win. We handed Bear Bryant a defeat in his very last Iron Bowl. And Bo Jackson didn't just run for a touchdown, he ran straight into history. If you were Gen X, you remember this feeling. It was a time when athletes weren't just stars, they were actual superheroes. In a world without social media, they existed as legends. You'd see a baseball player run up an outfield wall like Spider-Man, or break a bat over his knee like it was a mere twig, and somehow in our hearts, we believed he could do it. Not because we were gullible, but because in that era, athletes were built different. No two represented that era better than Bo Jackson and Michael Jordan. Bo knew everything. Jordan could fly. And honestly, we believed every word. Part 1, a world before the internet. Kids today have something we never had. They have the entire world's knowledge in their pockets. Instant fact checks for every claim. But Gen X grew up in a different world. Information traveled at the speed of the morning paper. Legends had room to breathe and grow into myths before the world could pick them apart. If someone told you Bo Jackson hit a baseball 500 feet into the night, you didn't look it up on your phone. You just believed it. You had to. It was part of the shared wonder of the age. If they said Michael Jordan could stay in the air longer than any human being on Earth, you believed that too. There was no YouTube breakdown or frame-by-frame analysis to prove otherwise. He just soared. We didn't have data points or advanced metrics. We had stories. And in the 80s, those stories became our modern myths, passed down on playgrounds and locker rooms and across dinner tables. There was a magic in the waiting. You'd hear about a feat on the radio and spend all day imagining it, waiting to see that one blurry highlight on the 6 o'clock news. It felt earned, like a reward for your patience. Part 2, Bo knows everything. Then came Bo, and suddenly being the best at one professional sport wasn't enough to satisfy the hunger of the legend. He wanted it all. Bo played professional baseball, Bo played professional football, at the exact same time, at the highest possible level. Even today, with all our modern training, it sounds like something out of a comic book. Back then, it didn't just sound impossible, it felt superhuman.
Oh, don't surf. That's what you think, dudes.
Nike didn't call the campaign Bo is a pretty good athlete, they called it Bo knows, and that became our gospel. And apparently Bo knew everything. He knew football, baseball, basketball, hockey. He even knew how to play the blues with Bo Diddley, or at least that's what the commercials told us, and we didn't doubt it for a second. The crazy thing, the commercials weren't that far from the truth. Bo ran a 4.140. He hit home runs that were measured in tape, home runs that didn't seem to have a landing point in our reality. He routinely made professional athletes, the absolute best in the world, look like they were moving in slow motion. He was a glitch in the matrix before that term even existed, a physical marvel. Every playground in America had at least one kid claiming he was the next Bo Jackson, usually right before striking out in a game of stickball. We all wanted a piece of that power, that effortless dominance. Some of us even tried running up walls in our backyards, mimicking that famous catch. The results? Well, let's just say gravity won most of those battles. But for a moment, we felt like we could defy it. Remember the 1989 All-Star Game? He hits a leadoff home run that travels 450 feet while the president is still in the booth. That was Bo. He didn't just play, he performed miracles on demand. And that moment, he snapped a bat over his knee like it was a toothpick after a strikeout. That wasn't a stunt. That was raw, terrifying, unadulterated strength. He was a force of nature in a Royals uniform. In the digital world of Tecmo Bowl, who was literally unstoppable, if you had Bo, you won. It was the only time a video game was actually accurate to a player's real-life reputation. He was a cheat code. Part 3, Jordan could fly. While Bo was the ultimate dual threat, Michael Jordan was something else entirely. He was gravity's greatest rival. He didn't just play basketball, he conquered the air. Jordan wasn't marketed as just a basketball player. He was marketed as a phenomenon, as his airness, a man who seemed to belong more to the sky than to the hardwood floor below him. The Nike ads, the dunk contests, they were more than just marketing. They were evidence. We watched him take off from the free throw line and held our breath, waiting for him to finally come down.
Ready to take off
in Chicago. That's got to be a 50 by. He took off just a little inside.
He never seemed to. Every highlight looked like it defied the laws of physics. He seemed to hang in the air a full second longer than any other human. We knew gravity existed, but we weren't entirely convinced it applied to Mike.
If I could be like Mike, I wanna be like Mike.
When the Be Like Mike commercials aired, it was more than a catchy jingle. It was a mission statement for an entire generation. Every kid in the world wanted those shoes, that grace, and that untouchable magic. Every driveway in America became the stage for the NBA Finals. Most of us couldn't dunk, heck, most of us couldn't even touch the rim. But for a few seconds in the air, we all felt like we could fly just like him. Remember the 63 points he dropped against the Celtics? Larry Bird, one of the greatest ever, said it was God disguised as Michael Jordan. That's how it felt to us, like we were witnessing the divine in a Bulls jersey. From the shrug in the finals to the sheer willpower of the flu game, Jordan's legend was built on moments of pure, stubborn defiance. He wasn't just more talented, he was more inevitable than anyone we'd ever seen. And when he hit the last shot in Utah, it felt like the perfect conclusion to a mythic journey. He had nothing left to prove. He was the king of the world, and we were just lucky to be living in it. Part 4, the Gen X superhero era. But it wasn't just Bo and Jordan. We were growing up in a pantheon of giants who all felt larger than life. It was a golden age of personality and power. Wayne Gretzky wasn't just a hockey player, he was the great one. He didn't play the game where the puck was, he played where it was going to be. He was a wizard on the ice, untouchable and supreme. And Joe Montana? He was Joe Cool, the man who never blinked, no matter how much was at stake. He was the hero of every fourth quarter comeback, the guy you wanted with the ball when the world was watching. In that era, nobody was merely famous, everybody was legendary. From Agassi's neon-clad rebellion on the court to the terrifying raw power of Mike Tyson in the ring, sports felt like a live-action superhero epic. Because we only saw them in carefully crafted highlights and legendary commercials, the magic lasted longer, the myth could breathe. We didn't have 24-hour analysis to strip away the wonder, we just had the legend. Part 5, what we lost. Today's athletes are incredible. Physically, they might even be superior to the legends of the past, but they're also human, and that's the problem. We see too much. We see every tweet, every bad day, every training camp mistake. The mystery is gone. We know exactly what they eat, what they think, and when they fail. The pedestal we used to put them on is much shorter now. Gen X grew up during the last great age of sports mythology, an era where athletes felt like they belonged to the gods and a single commercial could define your entire worldview. It was a time of pure, unvetted belief. It was a time when a kid could watch Bo Jackson run up a wall or Jordan soar through the air and truly, deeply believe that anything was possible, that there were no limits to what a human being could achieve. Bo knew, Jordan flew, and for one incredible, fleeting moment in American culture, we believed every single word. It was a beautiful lie that felt more real than the truth ever could. We didn't need the facts, we had the feeling, and that feeling of absolute unquestioning awe is something that today's data-driven world can never quite replicate. We lived through the age of superheroes. If you're Gen X, tell me, who was your larger-than-life sports hero? Was it Bo, Jordan, or maybe someone like Walter Payton, Joe Montana, or Wayne Gretzky? Who made you believe? Drop your memories in the comments below. Let's keep the legends alive. And if you enjoyed this trip back in time, hit like and subscribe for more Gen X memories every single week. We'll see you next time.